This is the universe in which we're living. Your very first sin in one way was the worst sin. In one verse you reversed the image of perfection. You marred the image of God in which you were created from dust. A black stain on a white frame that could never be unmade or undone. Like a gash in the canvas a master had fashioned with his own hands. And now justice demands that man return to the original plan. Fix that damage that you created, and until you do, justice is unsatiated until you make it right. But you spat in the face of the one who had shown you nothing but love. Never mind the fact that he owns you, and the fact that every good gift comes from God above. At the end of the day, you shoved him out of the way because you wanted to have your own say. Play your own game and call your own shots. Connect the dots any way that seemed right to you. And when he tried to bring the light to you, give goodness and mercy and sight to you, you kicked him to the curb, chose to be blind, separating yourself from the source of life and thus dooming yourself to death. And the story doesn't end when they send for the hearse, it gets worse. No matter how big your purse or whatever purpose you hope was worth something, there's one thing that nobody ever escapes. The same fate awaits kings and maids, masters and slaves. Judgment, impersonal, emotionless, justice. You get what you deserve, and there's no curve that you're graded on, because the standard is perfection, the radiance of God. Holy, 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 totally unattainable. You get it now? You think anyone is able to get you out of this hole you're in? The hole of your sin in its entirety means eternity separates divinity from humanity. And we know deep within that we are guilty. The case has been built, see? The prosecution rests, and the defense has nothing to present. The judge rules, there's no hope for you. And that is the universe in which we are living. And if the story had ended with that line, that would be justice. Given our crimes, there's nothing God on high must do. God could disdain us and remain as completely in the right as if he had never created us. Stuck in our own self-imposed night, we have no right to demand that he save us. If we deserved it, grace wouldn't be gracious. But the height of the crime that is yours and mine occurred 2,000 years ago. The holiest of names became profaned. Hands that flung stars into space became the same kind as those of the human race, and then with cruel nails were impaled in place. The face that Moses had implored to see was crowned mockingly with thorns, and the back that had borne the weight of the universe, that Moses had barely discerned through the cleft in the rock, was whipped raw until it was unrecognizable by those who saw him. And the most unbelievable part of all that took place, this was all by the choice that he himself made. Christ was no unwilling slave, dragged to the grave, kicking and screaming on the way, nor was he some stoic, impassive and unknowing the pain of the blows as they came. Christ is not less than us in that way. He experienced more excruciatingly all that happened, more than we can imagine. Not just the physical, the spiritual chasm, separation from the Father above, felt not love, but for the first time, the full fury of the Father's wrath. His Father turning his back. Was there ever such pain as that? As all of man's sin drained into him and stained him black. But he embraced it, and he contained it, and then he killed it. And then he rose again, and in that moment he declared death to be no more. To male or female, rich or poor, the downtrodden and the ignored, an invitation was immediately issued indiscriminately for all to come. Listen, the system of the world has been overturned, and the villain defeated by the spurned hero that nobody could see for who we now know him to be. The universe could have been the sort of place where sin had the last laugh and life's misery was capped with being judged for eternity for what we'd done. But God, being rich in mercy, chose a different option, chose to save the rebellious lost ones, and that option was accomplished for us on the cross. And in that moment, in a flash, the mysterious reversal came to pass. The picture is rectified, the soul is purified, the judge is satisfied, because Christ has bridged the great divide. And so all the voices of accusation are now nothing more than Satan's lies. And as it says in the scripture, death has been swallowed up in victory. Where, oh death, is your victory? Where, oh death, is your sting? And now, by grace and grace alone, this is the universe in which we are now fully, gloriously living.